and welcome to another episode of The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, where I, the curator, discuss my personal favorite show of all time, personal favorite franchise of all time, Doctor Who. And we are now opening this brand new year with my very first guest of 2024 with Frenchie. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm good. Here's a mess, and I'm all dressed, but yeah, I'm good, man. Uh, I thank you for doing this special edition for me because the remembering details of past doctors is not where my brain is at right now. But I definitely can have an opinion about everything. So I'm happy to be here, bro.
Yeah, so just to clue the audience in, uh, there was going to be a completely different topic for today, but we figured for the first episode of the year, last episode still recording in 2023, we're just gonna take it slow and just do an easy going Doctor Who special edition of just talking, just me asking uh, Frenchie some random Doctor Who questions that he has
And
opinion.
I got one for you, my friend. I got one for you, by the way.
All right, but before that, we've got the birthday section, and I know you
Oh
hate this segment.
no!
I know you hate this segment, so thankfully it's a relatively short one.
Yes.
We're doing this from the 26th of December all the way to New Year's Day, which is January 21st. Sorry, January 1st. And our first person we have for December 27th is the wonderful late, not late, but the legendary great Christopher Benjamin. He played several different roles in Doctor Who, but his easily most iconic and most memorable is Mr. Henry Gordon Jago on the talents of Wang Chian. He of course, then reprised the role in multiple episodes of the Jago and Lightfoot series on Big Finish. And speaking of Big Finish, someone who has given a role in Big Finish, but mostly known for his Doctor Who on screen credits on the 29th, the late, great Mr. Bernard Cribbins. He started, of course, as Tom Campbell in the Peter Cushing Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 movie, but then went on to play the character of Wilfred Mott during the David Tennant era, and of course, more recently in the 60th anniversary special for Doctor Who. On the Also on the 29th, we have sorry, Mackay Pfeiffer, who of course played the character of Rex Matheson in the fourth season of Torchwood, also known as the season we do not talk about. On the 30th, Mr. Saul Metzstein. I apologize if I mispronounced the name. I probably have. He was a director. He directed a short mini-sode called Good as Gold, but he also directed Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, A Town Called Mercy, The Snowman, The Crimson Horror, The Name of the Doctor, and Asylum of the Daleks. Also on the 30th, we have Miss Vivian O'Para. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced the name. She mainly played the character of Tanya in the Doctor Who spin-off show Class, and then of course she reprised the role in one or two of the Big Finish Class continuations, if you will. On January 1st, we have three people. Starting first, we have Dave Martin. He is a writer primarily. He wrote the episodes The Claws of Exos, The Mutants, The Three Doctors, The Sontaran Experiment, The Hand of Fear, The Invisible Enemy, Underworld, and The Armageddon Factor. But him, of course, writing The Invisible Enemy means basically he's the creator of K9. So he's also credited as such in any corresponding Doctor Who or Sarah Jane Adventures episodes. Also on the first, we have Sophie Okonedo. I apologize again if I mispronounced the name. She mainly plays the character of Alison Cheney, of the companion of the pseudo Ninth Doctor, played by uh, shit. What's the I can't believe that I forgot the name of Richard E. Grant. Yeah, sorry. My brain's not really here with me right now. Gee, if I
How,
think
how can you not know that? Wow, like I'm.
it's late, okay? It's late for me, and there's a war going on. It's my excuse.
You would
But
have
yes,
100 years. I would have never got the name.
shut up. Yeah, she was the companion of for the Richard E. Grant Doctor, and of course she played Liz Ten, otherwise known as Queen Elizabeth the First during the Matt Smith. Sorry, Queen Elizabeth the Tenth during the Matt Smith era. And finally, wrapping up our list, we have Daisy Haggard, who of course played
Hmm.
Sophie in the two James Corden episodes of Doctor Who with uh, Matt Smith, and of course he played in one of the short mini episodes. So yeah,
Well,
wonderful,
I can say only 10% of my soul went out this time, so that's an improvement.
cool. So for the wonderful list of people we had today, thank you all. Quite literally could not do this without you. Now, I didn't really have anything planned for this. Like I said, this we're just gonna it's a laid back shooting the breeze type show. That
If you
we
if you permit me,
what?
I do have a start off question then, just to lead off, because this is something I thought about asking you a long time ago, and I never did. So I think it fits in this category. Maybe a little 2 minutes on who you question the most of their morality of all the doctors. If there's one doctor, you'd be like, you know what? I wouldn't have done that, and it's like, it fringes on almost evil or whatever you want to qualify at, right? So who do you questions the doctors most for morality?
I suppose you could in a way do all of them. That's a
The
question and
most,
a half. But
the
the most,
most, the top. You went like that's crossing the line. The one who crossed the line the most, maybe I should say.
well, there all of them have their moments, but that can turn into a longer discussion. But the one I absolutely question the most is the Sixth Doctor, particularly in his early days. And one of the first things he does in his run as the Doctor is he strangles his companion to the ground. Of course, he's still struggling with.
Okay, well, now the question to that though, because we all want to strangle someone once in our lifetime, at least at a minimum, right? What are their circumstances, and why did he strangle? So if we look on the exterior, a look on the circumstances, is it justified? Can you explain? Because I don't remember why.
No, I can't say that it's not justified. It's that just he just regenerated. His mind was still kind of out of it in a loop in a way, and he just started suspecting that his assistant companion friend Harry was was somehow an alien in disguise or something or rather.
Okay, so there was paranoia. There was this.
Guys, he thought she was an alien spy.
Interesting. All right, but did it continue? Like, is there things he did after that? Kind of led to that kind of behavior. And if you would be with that doctor, you'd be like, "I'm just leaving you," or it's just that particular moment.
It was kind of a of the moment decision, but after that, he kind of went on to do some other questionable things, like he he pushed the guy into a vat of acid and made a joke while he was melting, and he kind of strangled another person, uh, practically to death. But
Okay, so yeah, and I think he's considered as the fans like the most one of the most despicable ones, right?
but it's one of the doctors that really got his second life on Big Finish. And on Big Finish, he's one of my favorites of all time. It's just didn't quite start out very good.
Okay, well, I have a question for you then. If he got redeemed in Big Finish, what doctor in Big Finish, like maybe a one moment that you questioned the morality the most? If we're going to the other side of the Doctor Who spectrum,
That'd be well. You're asking for a specific moment.
if you don't know every, because you haven't listened to all the Big Finishes, maybe one moment. But if you have a complete opinion, just choose the Doctor.
Well, aside from the Sixth Doctor, which I again, my opinions on him changed, and of course his early days were mainly defined by the fact that he was a bit unstable.
Unstable? Unstable?
But the Doctor that immediately preceded him was is the most questionable for me. And again, it's like the Seventh Doctor is kind of split into two completely different Doctors. There's the slapstick comedic clown variant of his early days, and the conniving, mischievous mastermind of some of his later years. And of course, it was only for one season on the show, but that's the version of him that continued on to the novels and the comics, and yes, even some of the big finishes. And
And
and then that doctor really did some really questionable shit.
okay,
Like he he sensed there was something dangerous about um, some race in a galaxy, so he just took the entire galaxy and locked it in a room inside the TARDIS somewhere. So somewhere in the TARDIS there is a room containing an entire galaxy within, and he had a Nazi companion at one point or another. He was very kind of genocidal on some of the things he did. Even on the show, he destroyed Skaro and made Davros do it.
well,
So
you gave him a pretty good resume to why we should like him. And oddly enough, like, and I would agree with all those things. If it would stick in my mind, I probably would resonate. The one thing that would resonate, and it's funny because it's my favorite Doctor too of all time. Doesn't
really,
mean it's cool. Yeah, not that this one, but my choice is he's my favorite Doctor of all time. But doesn't mean he's an actual moral guy. And for me, that's the first Doctor. Like, if
hmm,
you really think about it, he's yes a grumpy old man, but he's also very cruel at times, and he's also
yeah,
very
he also
like
popped into my head.
so. But he still stays my favorite one because there's something about that disheveled. He probably used to be good back then, but he's so hurt inside that the only way he shows love is showing it never.
Hmm.
And that could also extend in his actions. And I can't remember specific moments. If you have examples, go ahead. But I know there's a lot of times I watch the Doctor Who, I'm like, is this because it's a time period or he's just really mean?
I
And not in
mean,
a Peter Capaldi mean, like a meaner mean.
in his first ever episode, he kidnaps Ian and Barbara. His first companions weren't really willing companions. He just kidnaps them to the Stone Age, and after this caveman guy saves him from a tiger, and he's completely wounded. He's bleeding on the floor. He wants to leave him there, and he even considers grabbing a stone and killing them right then and there, so he can move on back to the TARDIS. And this continues on for a couple of episodes. But the reason why he's my third favorite Doctor of all time is because he starts off that way and grows out of it. He evolves as a character more than most other Doctors.
Okay, he's a perfect example of growing pains, and that's why I find it interesting because the first one was morally like okay, he has a lot to learn, but he grew, like you said. But then the doctors, there's some are more favored than others, but they always had a good heart. And then a regression happened in for the six doctors. Like everything fell back. Like he was able to hold it together until one point of his life, and it's a point that he prefers not to remember. You know.
Yeah, I mean, that what you're saying kind of carries on to the Seventh Doctor, because if you really look at it, the Doctors got progressively darker after that. Because like the Seventh Doctor was if you're asking for a specific moment that I have a problem an issue with is like it's one of the big finishes. I can't remember which one, but it's when he senses that he's nearing the end of his life, and like someone asks him why does he keep doing all this bad stuff he's doing. It's like he his answer basically means that he's nearing the end of his life. He wants to make sure that gets a lot of things done before he changes into the next one because he's not sure that his predecessors, not predecessors, his successors will have the guts to do what needs to be done. And that's clearly not the case because the Eighth Doctor, fights in the Time War, the War Doctor, and then there's the Ninth Doctor, and the 10th Doctor, and like each Doctor gets progressively much more aggressive and does progressively worse and worse things after. Even the 13th Doctor.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have a question for me now? Like, I think maybe let's go to part two. Would you have one? And I have a quick, fun one that doesn't require more at the end. But you want to shoot anything at me in the same style I asked?
well, before we get into my question, have you at least seen the 60th specials and the New Year's special, the Christmas special? Sorry,
Yeah, the only one I liked was the last one.
with Shurigawa,
With who? Huh?
the new Doctor, the 15th.
Yeah. No, wait. The special,
That's his
the
name.
one that he actually generates and splits. That episode,
Oh,
am I late? I'm late, right, on Doctor Who.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay.
Like,
I'm talking about the Christmas special that just happened on Christmas with the new Doctor.
no, if it's on Disney, because for some reason it popped on Disney. The other ones, the mini
Because
episode.
Disney bought this distribution rights.
Okay, so that means it's on Disney. I'm gonna go watch it, and I'm late.
Cool. So in that case, perfect. Because I had Snark on and Soda on all of last week, and basically we talked about which characters do we want to see come back from Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember.
Now, I guess this is sort of my question for you. So, like, if you could pick out a character, now we did classic, modern, comic books, Big Finish, novels, anything. But this is really the what we ended up coming up with, all the characters. So, like, if you had anything that you can explicitly remember.
Well, I don't like me and names and stuff, but the
I mean,
lizard
just give me a general outline of a description, and I'll figure
the
it out.
lizard woman and her female companion.
Oh yeah, we talked about them. The Paternoster gang.
Yeah, I really like them.
Me too. But the thing is, you gravitated more to those two or to the Sontaran guy that was with them? The Sontaran.
You see, for me, they're a team. They're a trio. See, they come together.
Yeah, but I'm just asking because you didn't mention them. But yeah, so Soda did mention he wants them to come back, but I kind of sensed in his voice that he wants them to come back because of that one guy. So
you see, for me, it's different. For me, it's the one guy's the dumb henchman. The assistant is smarter than she gives off and learns like this. She's a autodidact that you give her enough time, she's gonna go ahead and find a solution, but help her lover, And the main woman, I don't know how can I say this. She's like a Sherlock Holmes in her own way,
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's odd. Like sometimes she doesn't hide who she is that well. Just you can see she's different, but she still exists in the world. People accept her, for who she is without always knowing what she is.
People think it's a skin condition.
Exactly, and I find that character really interesting and much more deeper than other characters, in my opinion. There's certain characters are fun, but certain characters they want to be epic, but it fails to deliver sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Another past one. I would have to think.
Before you think, I'll just add something to what you said, because there is a big finish series with those three as a team,
Mhm.
and one of the things that they explored was Ginny, which is the human woman. They kind of explore her backstory, and she basically, her parents are like a traveling freak show circus, and she ran away from them. She escaped. She just couldn't handle how what they were doing. What, because in Victorian times they took people with disabilities, people with physical and mental deformities, and sort of showed them off to the world. And it's like, oh, look at the freaks of the world and whatnot. And so she couldn't handle that, so she ran away. And obviously, her parents were not on board with her being lesbian. They weren't on board with her liking some of the quote unquote freaks that they had on the circus. And so one time they kidnapped the lizard woman, the Silurian woman, and showed her off as one of the freaks in her circus. And it's like that one really made her question her lover. It's like, so yeah, she hates them, but they're still family. And she's like, how can you be related to these people? How can you be of the same species? How
Yeah.
can you defend them? So,
Okay.
anything like
So
that?
my other choice would be and find a way for it to come back. Face of Bow.
Hmm.
The Face of Bow.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, the Phase of Bo is basically Captain Jack.
Well,
So
yeah, but that version, okay, that version of Captain Jack for me is its own character, right?
me too.
And
Me too.
find a way and make it a centerpiece. Make it even go bad for some reason or whatever you want, right? But make it a reveal that ties everything to Face of Bo, but you get piece by piece. I would love that. Not just I'm a returning character, but make it important because Jack is so well loved that you can extend his character in its own way
I
without
mean,
even
look
needing to
how
use.
high he is on our list.
Yes, and that's why you use this kind of quality to bring quality storyline with something you never expect. Is that's how loved he is, and Face of Bo is so goddamn underutilized.
Yeah, but I think the part of the reason it was so underutilized is Russell Davies kind of wanted him to be uh, that. I mean, he said to the doctor, "We'll meet again for the third time and the last time." Now, of course, there
Yeah,
could be ways around it. There could be ways around it,
the
but
thing about space travel writing and BBC Genius is any idea you can make and find a reason. But you see, I agree, and I agree with the past too. It was good to separate because he needed to do his own show, Torchwood, blah blah blah. But years have passed. Years,
millions,
like
millions of years.
no, I mean, like
Oh, oh,
airtime to now, years have passed. You can revisit such an iconic character without needing the actor. If the actor doesn't want to return, you don't need him.
well, he said he wanted to return, but are you talking
Okay,
about the voice actor of Face of Bo?
no, Nathan, not Nathan. Is it Nathan Fillion?
John
What's
Perriman.
yeah, there you go. The actor, if he doesn't want to return, you can always have his quote. If he wants to return, he voices it.
I mean,
But he needs to shine again because I don't know, like we haven't seen him in a while, I think, and
he was in Jodie's era.
he was.
He was in 2 Jodie Whittaker episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how much I'm erasing from my memory that doctor. It really pains me to say because I like that doctor, but I can't remember episodes that save my freaking life for that doctor.
Man, to each his own.
Now, I have a question, a fast one on my end, if you're okay with that.
All right, cool.
If now every doctor has a gimmick or a scarf, harmonica, or something, right? Every doctor with
Recorder,
recorder, like all the little prop items or things that give personality.
the celery.
They all have one. They also have different, very different base core personalities. very different things that motivate them, things that scare them, things that make them react or the way they think. Now, if you won the lottery, you have a Willy Wonka ticket of BBC saying, we're going to create the Doctor based off of the gimmick and the base personality for the next Doctor. What gimmick and what base personalities would you give, or famous person you can influence on the Doctor, like the personality? What would it be?
Oh wow, that's I do not have an answer to that. I was thinking you were gonna ask me which is my favorite, but
Nah. You should know
wow.
by now. I'll give you really brain beeping questions.
I don't know. I'm not a writer. I'm not a character designer.
Imagination, bro.
Yeah, but it's you also gotta think of what gimmicks and stuff they haven't tried yet.
Okay, well, look, I'll give an example, and maybe you can follow after. Mine would be a doctor that is obsessed with chess, that
Okay, I mean
constantly,
they kind of tried it, but it's a minor thing.
but making it almost slightly autistic. That when he needs to concentrate, when he needs to find an answer, and everything's exploding, he'll get out a chessboard and start playing against himself. Then he has an idea, you know. For him, it's a mechanism as much as someone with with the ADD that has to always move something in his.
Yeah.
That makes him think. His base personality would be always trying and having a need to always be 4 steps advanced out of even his companions, let alone his enemies. But
That's the seventh Doctor.
So you combine with that, but also the seriousness of a chess player. When he's up to par, chess player will say the littlest possible and will talk after the game is won. And I think that's the attitude I want of the Doctor. The Doctor talks a lot. But that kind of Doctor I want is the one that is so, his silence is a menace, and he talks when he needs to talk. I think is a Doctor I'm willing and wanting to see.
That's such a great idea. Can I just go with that?
No.
No, that's so much better than anything I would come up with.
But okay, but let's shoot the shit then. What haven't they used yet, right? Let's nunchucks. They haven't used.
I mean, they kind of already did the martial artist Doctor.
Too. Okay. What about? Okay, humanitarian. It was done.
The what?
The humanitarian, the person that always wants to save the person, has been done. What about the technology savvy, more technology savvy, like almost like a hacker type?
I mean, they almost did it with Jodie's Doctor. I mean, the fact that she built her own screwdriver, and also Tennant used to do that a lot. But you know, it's something that I think has been used in Doctor Who sometimes, but they haven't focused it on yet. What if and it's an aspect of the Doctor that hasn't been used often enough, in my opinion. What if they go with a Doctor who's a linguistic, like for whatever reason, storyline, whatever, the translation circuits break, and so it's always the Doctor speaking multiple languages and alien languages and kind of translating into the companion.
Or it would be even more funnier that yes, he's a linguistic, but it's just because he hates a translator. He almost hates technology that he can do himself, to the chagrin of his companions that don't understand alien and don't understand, and sometimes are completely lost and keep insisting to put the translator, and he refuses.
Yeah, that could be an interesting avenue that they can explore.
Interesting. So what kind of base personality does that come on? Someone who needs to do his own translations and understanding his own way. How else can you push that Doctor? And what kind of personality gets it?
We've seen several times in Doctor Who that whenever there's different language, there's also different body language. Because remember, a language isn't just words, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So this doctor could be very welcoming. Now, you might hate the fact that I'm bringing this up, but in Star Trek Enterprise,
Okay.
there's an episode where the Enterprise crew pissed someone off, some race off, because they were eating food with their mouths or whatever. And
Okay.
so Captain Archer, to apologize, had to do this stupid trial run of just doing weird shit. Maybe something like that, where you go so far into a respecting someone else's culture that you just do crazy stuff like crazy dances, wear certain things, you know, I don't know, put pins and needles on your face to respect someone else's culture, something like that.
Yeah, and like understanding that you understand nothing, and also what translates. If you really think about it as well, because you're kind of describing what happened in translators that worked in the 1700s meeting new populations, is trying to figure out what the hell they're talking about, is understanding people at such a different level, understanding their personalities, understanding meaning in just gestures, right? And that kind of doctor will always look deeper, to maybe even deeper than, because there are a lot of doctors were reactionary. A lot of them were reactionary and then realize the consequences. This is a doctor I think that would stop at least 3 times. You know, when you have to repeat yourself 3 times before saying something or reacting to something, I think it's going to be a much more thoughtful doctor, the one you're going for. Because if you have to be a linguist, you have to take a step back before actually reacting.
And you know what? I'm just noticing that is a major plot point in the newest episode that you haven't watched yet.
Coincidences? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I just realized that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, understanding the language, you'll know what I mean when you see it, if you can remember it by the time you watch the episode. But yeah,
And then question to you, like, since I haven't seen it, first performance of the new doctor, your thoughts, your inputs, and or on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied with the first apparition of the Doctor new one?
I mean, he basically won me over in the episode where they split in two. The first proper debut episode, it's all right. I mean, Soda was over the moon about it, but without spoiling too much for you, they're definitely trying new stuff with this Doctor. So far, he feels to me a little too similar to the character that Shudi Gatwa played on Sex Education. I don't think he quite found his rhythm as the Doctor to separate
Okay.
himself from. Because I've seen him in that. I've seen him in Barbie. I don't think he quite defined his Doctor yet. But again, it's only an episode and like a few minutes of another Doctor's episode, so he's got so much time to grow. I just really, really, really hope that he breaks away from the 3 season rule that has been apparent in so many other Doctors. I hope we get 4, 5, 6 seasons with this. Maybe not six, but more than just 3 seasons with one Doctor. I hope we have him for a very long time now.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a really good conversation, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. So should we wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So tell the people, and again, we're doing a short episode because A, for Frenchie's benefit, and B, it's a first episode of the New Year special type thing. We didn't want to go too crazy with it. So tell the people of the universe, where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at a No Pause Network. I pop here and there. Talking about No Pause Network, you can find me and my good old pal, Mr. The Curator here, 50, talking about Pokemon. We're doing our also premiere probably in 2024. And you're taking, how can I say this, a generator online that meshes two Pokemons together and create a whole new Pokemon. And we, give challenges. We try to see how far we can push our Pokemon knowledge. with sometimes really beautiful Pokemon, sometimes some monstrosities that make you question life. So do not miss a thing. It's going to be fun. And again, you can find it on the No Pause Network.
And you can find me talking even more Doctor Who on my own YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. I do weekly reviews of every single Doctor Who episode from 1963 all the way up to 2023. Sorry. And I recently did my review for all three of the 60th anniversary special, so you can go ahead and check that one out. I also did a review for Wonka and Aquaman, so go ahead and check those out as well. And I even talk more Doctor Who on this show hopefully every Monday, Greatest Show in the Galaxy, and every Thursday, me and Soda meet up for Fun with Flags, where we teach each other about each other's respective countries. And I don't know if we're still doing this, but there's also other channels from the Benverse. We've got Taco's channel, Something to Talk About, Galaxy Geeks, Movie Lovers Unite, the Midnight Cinema, 8-Time Reviews, and the In the Front Row, which is still the picture in this thumbnail. But yeah, that's all we've got going on. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and hope you all had a very good year. Sorry, a very good new year. Hopefully 2024 will be better than the last 4 years we've lived through. So until the next time, everybody, in the words of Missy herself,
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Goodbye, everyone.